Creating with Your Spiritual Universe, CWYSU.com, CWYSU.com. It's been a little while working on a few projects, got some things in the works going on, and I'm going to be putting out some stuff, courses, assistance for those of us who are awakening and want to sort of experience and learn about some of the things I talk about, like going within and finding out who you are, and connecting with the core of your inner being, your heart, and all of those things. So I've been working on a bunch of those things, writing a few things as well, a bunch of other stuff. But I'm going to be getting back into making more videos because I think there's some important messages that need to come out. So let's get with it. Today I'm going to talk about current events, particularly the few demonstrations that are starting to crop up. You've got the women's movement demonstrations and activities and organization. And then we've also got our young folks who are organizing, marching, demonstrating, and starting to exercise their power. And frankly, it's a good thing. It's a good thing when we organize and gather and unite, because that is what the powers that be do not want us to do. And I'm going to focus a little bit on the young folks that are really displaying their power and stepping into it, for the simple reason that they're not safe in school, the one place where they should be as safe as they are at home. They're not safe in school and at school. And this is a problem because we, the adults, have failed them. We have failed them. Frankly, we are failing miserably at protecting our young, and we're the only species on the planet that does not protect our young. Of course, there are some species that, like snakes, they lay their eggs and then boom, they leave. But that's the way it's organized. It's supposed to be that way. We are supposed to protect our young until they're able to defend and protect themselves, and we're falling down the job, okay? So they have to defend themselves when they should be adjusting and learning how to become adults, how to become contributors, and how to really become who they were meant to be as they planned before they came here, before they were born into this reality. And what I have seen, though, is there are many of us that are defending them, that are on their side, that are understanding. But then there are some of us. I've seen some of us talking about this young folks. Oh, they're being used by the government, and they don't know what they're doing. And maybe if they would stop playing those shoot 'em up games and messing around on social media, or bullying each other, they wouldn't have these problems, or they don't know what they're doing. In the meantime, you as the adult, being critical, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Those of us who are opposing our own youth in a very legitimate concern that they have should be ashamed of ourselves. I'm going to frankly tell it to you like it is. Okay, these young folks are demonstrating and they're acting and organizing because they're sick and tired of becoming victims. Okay? And they're also taking responsibility for their own actions. You know, the bullying issue is something that is a part of the problem in their ranks. And I'm seeing them calling those in their own ranks out on this. And so it's very, very important for us to understand what is going on here. The big issue I see here is that many of us are going, they're playing into the hands of the government who want to take guns away from us. And in fact, That is not the issue. The government doesn't care about your guns. These kids really want is for assault rifles like the AR-15 to be made illegal. Why do we need to have a gun that can kill hundreds of people? Literally, if you set it up correctly, you can kill hundreds of people within a couple of minutes. Easy. So that's all they're saying. And they're saying, let's have smart and background checks and checks and balances so that people who are not right in the head do not have access to weapons of mass, with mass murderous capabilities. That's all. Nothing else. So those of us who are afraid of losing the Second Amendment, I'm here to tell you the Second Amendment is completely obsolete. The government doesn't care about your guns. The government is not afraid of your guns. The gun is obsolete. The gun is obsolete. The only thing and the only benefit the government is getting from guns is that they're able to get you to go into your pocket and plunk down the cash to buy it. So gun manufacturers are profiting. And those in government are invested in that. Okay? And let me tell you why your government doesn't really care about your guns. Because they have weapons that are 200-300 years more advanced than the gun. Okay? They can take weapons out and have a dime sticking in a forest, hit that dime and not touch anything else. They can level your home with direct energy weaponry. They can psychically attack and target any one individual that they want. They do it all the time. To get people to do things to divide. And that is the purpose of what's going on. Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on. You got like a little bit of an effort, concerted effort to separate people and get people pit against each other. See, that's the main objective. The government uses guns, race, and God to separate you. And I say government, it's not even the government. They're not in charge. All the people you see that you elect, they're not the ones in charge. They're just the face. The entities and beings that are in charge are unseen. They're non-physical, okay? These are the beings that have been feeding on the emotions and energy of humanity. And their days are coming to an end. And what they need is a situation where you give consent for them to come in and put down the rules of martial law and put down and give them an excuse to use their weapons. They've already practiced it. I'll give you an example. If any of you have taken a look at the California so-called forest fires and take a look at some of those pictures, you'll see a supposed forest fire where homes are leveled down to nothing. And it's quite funny because in many of those pictures, the trees, the surrounding forests, untouched. Where the heck did the fire come from? If it didn't scathe through the forestry to get to your home. Oh, by the way, and look at some of those pictures, swing sets, completely, perfectly, not even touched. When since did plastic become fireproof? Directed energy weapons. Okay? So the government doesn't give a hoot about your guns, and because they already have figured out a way around them. And they've also figured out a way to get you triggered over them. Okay? So if the government doesn't care about you, well, what's the whole point of this? The whole point of this is simple. Keep you separated. Keep you pitted against each other. The major objective is for us to get onto the streets and start attacking each other. That's what they need to bring out the weaponry. And they've been trying for a long time, but people are not doing that. Instead, it's backfiring and people are uniting. Okay? So if you understand the agenda, you'll understand the tactics and how to defend against them. So number one, get you pitted against each other. When this particular gun thing kind of runs a little low, they'll go to the race thing with the blacks against the whites and the whites against the blacks. And when that gets all a little tired and gets died down, they'll go to the xenophobia, the fear of foreigners. And they'll come and tell you, oh yeah, we got to get rid of these people. They're criminals. They're here taking your jobs. I'm almost certain that 99.9% of the people watching this video aren't going to have to go pick lettuce in the blazing sun just to survive. Okay? So, and then when that doesn't work, then they go to the cultural thing or the religious thing. And they just work the cycle over and over and over and over again. Okay? So that's the whole point, to keep us divided. Because if we're divided, then we can be controlled. Simple. And the second tactic is this planet is awakening spiritually. And people are understanding that there's more to life than what they see physically with their physical eyes and what they hear with their physical ears. And they're getting that they are more than what they have been taught. Okay? And so what they don't want is this awakening to occur, and they're waiting for an excuse to clamp down on it. And so they do all of these things so that they can prevent you from going within. Because once you go within, you'll start creating your own reality. Once you do that, there's nothing they can do about it. Nothing. So go within. And there's a lot of resources now coming online for us to get and understand who we are. Because humanity is an infant race of beings. We're an infant race of beings. And we have been interfered with for most of our existence. And now it is time, and we're now being given the assistance against this interference. Okay? And if I'm talking a little bit too far out there, okay, I'd like for you to know that the reality as we know it is changing. And it's not that it's changing, it's that we're seeing more of what is there than we have seen before. And many of us are seeing that. And those of us who think that this is hocus pocus, I am not here to placate or to avoid subjects that are a bit touchy, because those who are asleep and who have purposely put their heads in the ground aren't aware. There are those of us who are awake, and why should we wait for the mainstream and the masses to get it? Indeed, the masses never do. It's always a small amount of people. And when they start waking up and asking questions, we have to already be there, be prepared to assist. And we're normally ridiculed in the beginning. But I'm not here because I'm afraid of ridicule. And I'm not going to shy away from subjects because many can't identify with it. Enough of us will soon, and we'll reach critical mass, and everyone will. But someone's got to do it, you know? And we're not going to sit here and wait for people to agree or be able to say, or we don't care. You can call us conspiracy theorists, the juju makers. I've heard it all. This is part of the plan to get us to keep each other enslaved and trapped. We don't talk about things because we're afraid of ridicule. We won't mention things because we're afraid to be called out. Okay? Because those who control, that's the main defense that they have. We do not talk about things because we're afraid. Those who are controlling our governments, those unseen forces, those beings, they need secrecy. They need secrecy. And the minute they lose that, they lose their power. Because the minute we start waking up and start seeing the part of our reality that you need the other faculties to be able to see, and you start working on yourself, and you start being able to see with the eyes that can see the non-physical, the ears that can hear the unhearable with the normal ears. When you are able to feel the subtleties within this realities, you will be able to see them, detect them, and stop what they're doing, because you will be able to notice it, and you will be able to remove your consent from it and send them back to where they need to go, which is to be reformed, to Source Creator, which, by the way, is not a God. Go back and watch my video about Source is not a God, okay? Because they've cut themselves off. And we're no longer going to be participating in their parasitic reality, where they feed on our energy and suck us dry and screw our children up and mess with our future and create misery, war, and suffering and pain, because that's what they need to survive. They need to go back to the source of all creation, because we didn't come here to support a parasitic agenda, and we didn't come here for anything other than an experience and the evolution of ourselves and a connection with our core selves and our human family, so we can create a reality of joy, love, peace, supreme creativity, where happiness is the norm, joy is a given, and life is something that is relished, and we can't wait to wake up. Sleep is an annoyance because the awakened state is such bliss. That's our birthright, right? So thank you so much for watching. Share, like, and subscribe. And until the next video, defy the taboo against finding out who you are.